Welcome back, guys, to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, as we now prove motive for Daryan Crescend after bringing the Borginian Cocoon into the mix. However, he works for international affairs that we never goes abroad. He knows how dangerous it is to try and sell them. He knows exactly what kind of sanctions are on the thing. So why would he risk it? What would he do? Well, a link between the Justice Department and the Chief Justice might be his motive. Or more to the point, the reason that he might end up killing an Interpol agent. Why one would need to be smuggled into the country, eh? An expensive medicine, that's for sure. As we have ourselves the Chief Justice's son, who's currently inflicted with incuritis. A corruption case could probably be brought forth due to this. Let's present, because we know this is the link. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this?
That article, that's about the Chief Justice's.
A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon. So can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuritis.
Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere.
Haven't you been visiting? Don't you know of it? You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning.
No. Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying.
Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice.
You are saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband.
Not even to save his own son's life?
But even if the deal went through, why, it'd been an international scandal.
That's Detective Crescend's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice.
Detective Crescend, is this true?
First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler? How many crimes are you trying to pit on me anyway?
Distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller.
Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof? Well, yeah. Don't actually have any. Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Borginian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out.
So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination.
Right, so what did we get out of that? We presented something. That's a different statement. Borginian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. Just how strict is this customs check? Way strict. They keep planes on the ground for hours. I do recall it being a bit extreme. They were even confiscating gumdrops and marshmallows.
Yes, it would be hard to distinguish them.
That's right. Gavin was in Borginia, wasn't he? I remember setting off the metal detectors several times. I had to practically strip naked to walk through. Here's a travel tip for you, Gavin. Leave the bling at home, you glimmerous fop.
You glimmerous fop.
Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot and then sentenced to death. That's pretty extreme. Borginia has its rep as an idyllic, laid-back place. Truth is, they're beyond hardcore with security. The Republic of Borginia is a peaceful, pleasant country. So this level of security shows us how truly concerned they are about these cocoons. That's the situation. I mean, they'd get blamed if some mass poisoning happened, wouldn't they? Hey man, if there's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. You're in a position to know quite a bit about smuggling. Yeah, I need to know a bit for work, sure. But all we get are reports on the failed smuggling ops. Not exactly something you want to go copying. But if you want, I can tell you a few of them. Maybe you'll succeed and get rich.
I would be interested in hearing. Purely from a legal perspective, of course.
I weep for our judicial system. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's got to be a way to find out what he was up to. So we've changed 3 statements. Everything and everyone gets checked. Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot and then sentenced to death. This is a fact we know. If there's a way to get cocoons out there, I'd sure like to know. This seems like a challenging statement. Right, so we got to think about smuggling. and what transpired between Borginia and here. The Governors went to Borginia. They met Lamara. Gavin and Lamara made a song and planned to play it. This is fairly obvious from here on out, to be honest. There was a very special guitar that he used for the song and he wanted to keep preciously. Guitars warped with air pressure, etc, etc, so it was wrapped up and held in a special way and taken out the country, all lovely vacuum packed. No touching once it was vacuum packed, of course. So what if a Borginian Cocoon was put in prior to that fact? I mean, if there's anything that left the country separate from the Governors, separate from the normal customs kind of guys and went in a different way, it was that guitar. You gotta think about the implementation for moving it. It's not like one of them shoved it out their bunghole. They're not that kind of easy smuggling kind of fraudulent stuff with drugs and stuff that the people actually do in real life. Oh, the stories. Oh, the stories. A gift from Lamara, sent from Borginia. Burn the night of the concert. Why? To get rid of the evidence, most likely. Objection! Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country. No checks.
What is it?
You become a prosecutor.
A prosecutor?
I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lamara. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. So this guitar is from Borginia? That it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruin the wood. So we vacuum packed it in Lamara's studio. It's nice when actual facts that you actually know in real life come into the case, like the air pressure things warping the wood, changing the sound, the acoustic values of an instrument like an acoustic guitar. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence, which meant that it was not touched once it was vacuum packed. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. That's going to create a bit of a hoo-ha. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Borginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Borginia.
What?
Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar has some work done on it recently, right?
Work?
Good memory, Hair Forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It is called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. A broken device? Yes, this in fact.
An igniter!
Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use Piggy Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band. Yuck! I thought he said never been abroad. He's been abroad with the band, though, by the look of it.
Order! Contradiction! So the igniter
was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution.
A precaution?
Her forehead. At last it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lamara's ballad, if you please.
Maestro.
First, my keys were stolen. A harmless misdemeanor. Which forced me to break the lock of my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar.
I see.
But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time. A very large problem presented itself to the smuggler.
What's that?
Mr. Latouze.
Ah!
Mr. Latouze, an undercover agent, was on to something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So Mr. Latouze tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated then, the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch, now! The guitar burst into flames, and the cocoon was lost. And then Mr. Latouze died, with Lamora there to witness it. There's your case. Brilliant, man.
Detective Crescend.
I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly? Her made-up story. It makes a great deal of sense, Daryan. Republic of Borginia? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Okay, it was just you that went, Clavier. Ha! Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. Had I had the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help. A Borginian accomplice. The one you told to press the switch. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamora heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch now! He made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage.
But who was it?
This is it, the coup de grace. And for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him.
Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with a great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice?
It was Machito Bay, my defendant. There is only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice, and that person is the defendant, Machito Bay.
But, Mr. Justice, he's your client.
Defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I am. But I'm here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouze, and I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime.
Indeed, the defendant is Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lamora?
It couldn't have been.
Well, you seem sure of yourself.
The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor.
Electronic signals?
Recall this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless.
Yes, that's true.
Now think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamora was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent.
Well, looking at this, it seems that Lamora still could have done the deed.
No. When the shooter made that transmission, the guitar burst into flame on top of a podium high above the sky. The stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and Lamora standing were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lamora's position in the air vent.
Ah!
Well, Detective Crescend, what'd you say to that? Your Honor.
Yes, Detective?
Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time.
Well, I don't see why not.
What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. Too bad. So sad, punk. Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo.
What exactly were we supposed to see in this video?
The problem isn't in what we see. Correct, Daryan? Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the wee pianist to set off that igniter? That right? Yes? Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano?
What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine.
And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it? Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You've got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the Diva. Lamira. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out. If they couldn't even press a switch. I'm just gonna say. Bam. Bum bam. Dun dun bum bam. How complicated is this piano? The piano plays non-stop. It definitely doesn't play non-stop. And if you've ever played piano, those could be just all one-handed chords. And then he's pressing like 2 or 3 notes in between. I don't believe that for 1 second. He couldn't have pressed that switch.
Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire.
Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange? What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Odd?
Mr. Justice, if Machitobe didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is.
But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire. The pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes.
Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant Machitobe the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought.
Apollo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Musicians notice it, Apollo. Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd?
Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this? Can you prove Machitobe pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Machitobe pressed that switch?
Yes! Because I have to. I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Hair forehead, you sure about this? Ha! Accept it! There's no evidence, man.
Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed that switch?
I have to use this, don't I? It is on the guitar serenade. Okay, well, we know which one straight away. The piano is. It's not during this bit. We know it's during the second bit. Must be. These are two-handed chords there. Okay. I think it's... I feel like it's for a period of time. The piano's playing isn't that involved. I don't know, maybe. But it's gotta be this. It's gotta be that. The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor, because it's gotta be in the music.
Music? What about music?
As this is the piano part, around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame. Well, even the game's following it on a bit. This bit, yeah. It didn't follow its chord structure, it's just kind of boom, boom, boom.
I hear piano being played.
But, doesn't it sound kind of simple?
Simple?
I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand? Well, I was right for the wrong reasons, I guess. Whatever.
One hand?
He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. That was just the logical explanation. Maybe I didn't get it musically. I've only played piano for a bit in my life. Ha! What's, you're some kind of piano savant? Actually no.
Then what you know?
You can't play a part like that with one hand. Maybe... I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know! Hey, Trucy! Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he... Oh, Daddy. He can play a part like that, even if he had free hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you going to prove whether he played it with one hand or two? You can't. I admit it will be rather difficult to prove. But it's highly likely he was playing with one hand. How do you know that? The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No. No way.
Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand. Right before the guitar burst into flame.
Machi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire. And one section of the song proves it. It's definitely... Well, okay, we're back here again. It's definitely the second section, so I'm guessing I could just present that straight off the bat. Well, it's flashing the bit I want to flash. So let's go give it a go.
That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin?
It's a beautiful song, and the lyrics are outstanding.
I'll take that to mean there isn't a problem with this section at all.
Wait, so what was the odd thing that Gavin heard? The switch was pressed in the first half of the second verse, right? I know, I just need to find a place to compare to that. Your Honor, if you'll give me one more chance, I think I can find it.
I suppose we don't have a choice. Very well. You claim the defendant was playing with one hand when the switch was pressed. Show us the part that proves it.
I was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire. Okay, we're going back onto the song again. Proof he played one-handed would be a comparison piece then. So it would be the first section I'm presenting. Must be. So not presenting the section it actually happened in. I'm presenting the bit that sounded more full at the start. More complex. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realised by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realised it yourself, Herr Forehead.
Realised what?
I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the but a fleeting melody phase. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing? You're right, enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we?
Another section?
The guitar bursts into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to the "Oh, that night in your embrace."
Play verse 2 again.
There, did you hear that? It's more about what you don't hear, so I was confused by that statement then. It's more about what you don't hear.
They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different.
What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use two hands to play that for sure. What's that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the two verses are different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Daryan. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different? I asked myself. Now ask yourselves why Machi changed how he played. There's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch.
An orc!
An orc?
An orc? Order! I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, quite. Though, personally, this comes to terrible disappointment. What? No comeback? I can't believe it! I finally did it! I shut him up!
Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter.
Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. It's not over? I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, Herr Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes, don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts will check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts! Anyone could see it was him!
Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it.
But there was no decisive evidence for Machi!
1,000 facts might point toward the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system.
I don't believe it!
It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present.
Oh, I think if we did, we already would have seen it a long ways back.
It is unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation.
What? What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. Be aware that it'll be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Daryan Crescend's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. I mean, an igniter. I already have the most perfect thing in mind. The most decisive piece of evidence in this case. Because of what the other facts prove. It's so blatantly obvious. Let's hope it goes that way. It better do. No time to play pretend, eh?
Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go.
Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes. Good guitars are kept dry is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Finding time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What, and this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry. And I intend to hear this one through to the very end. And I intend to see this case through to the very end at this point. We can't be that far off as we keep going over time. F4 Ed. You're accusing this man, Daryan Crescend, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latouze and the smuggling of a Borginian Cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case.
This trial has already run on for far too long. Mr. Justice, it will be the last warning. What?
My mess this one up, I screw it?
The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then, let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Daryan Crescend.
Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Daryan Crescend's plan is... present evidence or call a witness. Why is that option there? Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh? So what is? It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence. Or perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean, a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order. But I've got just the person to do it.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Daryan Crescend's guilt?
Well, plea deal, bargain, confession. Machi Tobey, of course, the accomplice, obviously. The one person who can prove Daryan Crescend's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tobey.
Your client? Again?
Machi Tobey was an accomplice to the Cocoon smuggling plot. I just want to say everything that Apollo's going to say ahead of time, but I know that's just like, I know. Without him, Daryan Crescend could not have gotten the Cocoon, and is sentenced to death. But what if he is kept out from being exported back to the death penalty land? Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that Cocoon is the real criminal in this case.
How so?
It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Borginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would no doubt also find inside the burnt out guitar.
Aha! Very scientific of you!
Thus, if Machito Bay acknowledges agreement with Daryan Crescend concerning the attempted smuggling of a Borginian Cocoon, the case is solved. Ha! And Daryan's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? A little key tickler won't acknowledge anything. Especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling.
What's this all about?
Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Borginian law. Yeah, but that's what these deals are for. Ah. Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking. But you're wrong, Detective Crescend. What? It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. Huh? How? Because we send him back to his country if he hasn't done the crime. Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalties for smuggling in our country. Ah! The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Borginia. And they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today. Including the part about the Borginian Cocoon. Yeah, but... Floppy. But if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Borginian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here. Not now. Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me. Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machito Bay. Ah! Cocoon smuggling, your entire plan. Machito Bay knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him. And that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling. Ha! Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. A hidden mansion? Real nice. You want a house made out of cookies? Or no, a house made out of pianos? Come on. Please! Don't talk! Oh, a broken man! And no remorse from his friend. Daryan, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession? Oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in him now, though.
Well, have you been listening to today's trial?
Yes.
And you'll talk? You'll tell this court everything?
I didn't want it to turn out this way. But I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew from beginning. I knew. Machi? Situation. I cannot explain. But money I needed. Very much money.
Today's trial raises a delicate issue of our legal system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However, it has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Machito Bay.
Yes?
I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict.
I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth.
That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant matchy to obey.
Congratulations, kiddo.
Not guilty. Court is adjourned.
He's still... Well, you can't really end up in jail. Depends on the laws of the country, of course. It'd be juvenile detention at the very most. He's too young. I imagine he'll go into protective custody or some kind of housing or something like that. What will happen to Machi? Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Borginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well that ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Lamira? My, is something wrong? I'm sorry. Machi was your partner on stage, your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I'm considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I've always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Lamira lost his sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I had been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right, she's a landscape painter in sound after all. We will paint the two of you, I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Lamira! I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet! Me too! And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on, until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial. The guitar serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But, there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end! Just in case anyone uses you again. And so, Turnabout Serenade is completed! Moving on to Turnabout Succession. A brand new episode has been added, and will of course be played next time on Apollo Justice. I'll see you then! Bye-bye.